Welcome to SWTV's College Football Preview Show. This week our analysts break down 5 great games, plus the game of the week, as the Penn State Nittany Lions travel to Tuscaloosa, Alabama to take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now let's join our host, Mr. Rich Zalonis, and co-host, Mr. Chris Molino, for SWTV's College Football Preview Show.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of SWTV's College Football Show. I'm Mr. Zalonis, and this year I'll be hosting the show with Mr. Molino again. We took a year off last year. We missed it, and we are really happy to be back. Pretty lackluster first week. No major upsets. A couple of big games, but nothing too much out of whack as to what the experts predicted. And we've got 6 games on tap for you this week. Mr. Molino and I will talk about each one. We'll get your opinions as a student body for the game of the week, and we'll have some fun doing the show this year. So let's jump right into it. Game number 1 has the number 8 ranked Oregon Ducks traveling east to Neyland Stadium to play the Tennessee Volunteers. And a pretty interesting game with the Pac-10 team going against an SEC team, and it's not going to take people very long to find out who your favorite team is. So what do you think about this one?
That's right. Tennessee is my favorite team. Last year, maybe one of the reasons why we don't do the show is because I don't know if I can pick a Lane Kiffin coached team, so I struggle with that. Maybe that's why I balked at last year's show. However, this year's show with Derek Dooley leading the team, who seems to come from a very good, solid football background with Nick Saban and all the experience he has there. The Vols are unranked and currently, going through a growing process, and this is going to be a very stern test for them.
I agree. Oregon put up 72 points last week. They've got a very high-octane spread offense. They're experienced, and I personally, I think what's going to be the telltale difference in this ball game is, can Oregon come east at night in a very rowdy stadium and play well enough to beat Tennessee? Normally, I would say no, but I think Oregon is experienced. I think they've been through this. Autzen Stadium is one of the loudest venues. It's not very large, but it's very loud to play in and very rowdy. And I think Oregon's going to win this ball game. I think they've got too much talent on both sides of the ball. Close early, maybe for a while, even for a half, but then I think Oregon pulls away.
Well, I may get hammered in all the picks that I make this week because, early in the season, too much heart goes into how I feel about these games. Obviously, this is one of them. Looking at it on paper, Oregon is the Pac-10 favorite. I believe they'll win the Pac-10. Explosive on offense, experienced on defense. 72 points last Saturday is an eye-opener. Tennessee, of course, they're injured at wide receiver. They're going to have to rely on a couple of freshmen there. But they are at home, where Rocky Top will be blaring. The crowd will be excited. Neyland Stadium is one of the best, if not the best, stadiums in college football. Justin Wilcox is now the defensive coordinator at Tennessee. Used to be at Boise State. He knows what he's up against in this Oregon offense. And this is my first upset pick of the year. I realize it's an upset. I don't like to believe that, but the Vols make a statement early on in Derek Dooley's career. Here we go. They're going to pull the upset here over Oregon. It'll be a tough one, but they're going to do it.
No chance for Tennessee, but that's good that you pick them. They're your team. Our second game has the number 19th ranked Georgia Bulldogs visiting Bryce Williams Stadiums in South Carolina to play the 25th ranked South Carolina Gamecocks. Both teams here are also undefeated, coming off of fairly decent wins their first week. A lot of major implications in this game, not so much for the players, more so for the coaches.
Right. It's kind of unfortunate that this early in the season, these two teams are playing, and the heat is going to be on one of the coaches. Whoever loses the game, the heat's going to be on that guy right from the get-go, and I think unfairly.
Mark Richt has done a tremendous job at Georgia resurrecting that program. They've been ranked every year, have gone to major bowl games. He does things the right way. As you know, he's a longtime assistant at Florida State under Bobby Bowden, and really is coming under some unfortunate criticism for not having Georgia in the top 3 every year. But this is a game in which you're going to look at Georgia's offense and Georgia's consistency of running the ball versus a much improved South Carolina defense, was something that South Carolina isn't noted for. And they've had very inconsistent play at the quarterback position for the last 2 or 3 years. That seems to settle down. So this is a tough one. This has been a tough pick'em for me, but I'm going to go with Georgia because I think overall they're a little bit more talented and better coached.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with you on this one. We may disagree on every pick today. I don't know. Watching South Carolina play Southern Miss, and like you said, Southern Miss is a team that has been known to pull upsets and play well early in the season. I really liked how physical South Carolina was, and I just think, finally, this is it for Spurrier. I think he has a good enough team. They're settled at quarterback. I like the defense a lot. Unfortunately, I also like Mark Richt, and I can't say I like either of these teams because they're in Tennessee's division, but I think South Carolina gets to win at home, and Spurrier gets that early season big win that he needs.
Fair enough. Game number 3 has the number 12 ranked Miami Hurricanes traveling to the Shoe to play number 2 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes in a clash of the national championship game from a few years back. And what can you say about this one? 2 of my least favorite teams, to be honest, but Miami is a team that I totally can't stand. But that aside, we got to do things the right way and report the facts. Right. Ja'Cory Harris coming into the game is going to have the national spotlight on him and the Hurricanes, who have been trying to get back under Randy Shannon, to where they used to be a decade or so ago, where they were playing for national championships, ranked in the top 3 almost every year. This is a major statement game for Miami and a major statement game for them to try and get back into the national spotlight. Traveling to Ohio State to play Terrell Pryor and company. What's your take?
Well, my take is I don't think Miami is quite ready to go in to Columbus and beat Ohio State. I just think Ohio State has too many weapons back. They won't make a whole lot of mistakes. Miami, although very fast, I just don't think they're experienced enough and ready yet to go into Columbus and beat Ohio State. I like Ohio State at home.
And for me, the big thing in the game is going to watch and see how well Ja'Cory performs with that spotlight and the target right on his back. And say what you want about Ohio State, Jim Tressel has done a great job being consistent there every year, and they're to the point where they're just reloading. They don't have down years. They're a double-digit team win every year, but they have a chip on their shoulder in the fact that they need to go out and prove that they can beat someone other than a team from the MAC conference in Ohio or a fellow Big Ten team. They've been criticized lately, as you know, for not being able to win a bowl game, and they've been in some pretty big ones. But I also agree with Mr. Molino. I think that Ohio State's got too much at home, and I think they go ahead and beat Miami this weekend.